Welcome back everyone, Blade here, back with another video of Duet Night Abyss. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about all the combat systems and everything that you need to know for the combat side of things. If you guys are interested in this, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out a lot. We've been doing a great job so far, so of course we're going to continue from now. If you want to also be able to join me on different multiplayer things as well, we have a live stream going on later on tonight, and we're going to try and do some cool things as well during that, so be sure to tune in. But going ahead and taking a look at all the combat information, there's a ton of things that we need to go ahead and look at, and I went in, as you can see at the side of my screen, found a ton for you guys. So I've already read up on a lot of it, so I actually can't explain it, but I want to at least show you guys as well some of the images. So as per normal, we already know we have, of course, our HP and our shield, the HP being the top bar and the shield being the bottom bar. Once our shield does deplete, we will of course have damage dealt to us. Now this the same goes for at least the enemies too, so they will have their HP and their shield gauge there. If you break the shield, you'll start dealing a lot more to their HP. Pretty simple, pretty easy. There is a revive mechanic, of course. If we do end up dying, we're able to revive, but there are limited chances of revival, so do keep that in mind. Next thing that we want to take a look at is our sanity and our skills. So every skill that we end up using doesn't actually go on a cooldown, they go on something of a sanity bar. Most of our skills will not have a cooldown whatsoever, and we can pretty much spam these guys however we want to, though they will have a sanity takeaway. The less sanity we do have, of course, that means we cannot use our skills. The more sanity we have, the more skills we can go ahead and spam. That third little gauge right there on the Z button actually is the Genimon button here, so that's going to go off a whole different cooldown, and I explained some of that in today's everything you should know video, so be sure to check that out. Now the next thing that we got to take a look at is the dodge. We're able to of course evade traps and powerful enemy attacks as long as we're using our dodge, but it does have limited uses, so be sure to take a little bit of a look-see at that to make sure we're not losing too much on our health and we don't take too much damage, so keep that in mind. Sprint, all of you guys already know what to do. Hold down the movement key, we get of course a sprint. If we do a long press or at least a little tap press here, we're going to get a dodge, so just keep that in mind. Easy, nothing too much to really go over with that. Going into our next thing, which is the Helix sleep, or one of the few things that you guys are very familiar with in Warframe, called the bullet jump. This one is just a long distance aerial movement where we're able to go pretty darn quick. It's kind of a combination of a slide into a jump. We'll first go ahead and do a slide, which most likely is going to be our control key, into a space movement, and that allows us to do this corkscrew looking type movement here. Probably going to be your main thing for getting around the map, so of course be sure to use that to easily get past a lot of things. We also have a new travel system which wasn't originally in the game, and this is going to be the grapple points. Grapple points were recently added, if I'm right, in the last I think it was the last live stream that they told us about it, not this recent one here, but they added more grapple points, so now we can actually grapple around the city as well as the wilderness whenever we are going around, so surely do keep that in mind. Now getting into more of the DPS type things, or more of the I guess the battling side, because this is just battle basics, and that's probably how I'm gonna have it, as a more of a timestamp here. But now getting into the actual battle logistics here, we have a stance bar. Many boss enemies will have this said stance bar, in which after us going ahead and knocking down this bar, it could do a hit stun where it will temporarily incapacitate them. There's other ways to of course incapacitate the boss, such as like breaking different parts on the boss monster. I'll talk more about that in a second, but this is another way to immediately get a hit stun off and get some decent damage on the enemy. Our next one that we're going to go over is the Axe Retribution. So whenever a boss is stunned, and this is usually going to be from what we just recently went over, and then that one down below being the divide and destroy button here, or the divide and destroy type section here. If they are ever stunned, we're able to do something called an Axe Retribution. This is going to be a specific move that we can end up doing after we press the interaction key, and it will deal some massive damage. Now this can be procced between the divide and destroy section, being able to just break off a piece of the boss and it could incapacitate them as well, or it can be gained from the last previous part, which was the stance bar, which if we're able to knock them at any given moment, we could then go ahead and use this to deal some crazy damage. Now we went over these little few sections. We have a couple more that we want to look at, being just the trial aspect here, or the trial EXP. So that was more of the combat section. This is more going to dive into how our accounts do work. So do keep in mind of this. Now we have the trial EXP here. Whenever, of course, we're leveling up or doing any of our stages or anything like that, we will have different trial EXP methods. This is most likely going to be gained from upgrading characters, weapons, genie mons, and demon wedges. All of this, of course, will give us different bonuses inside of fights, so you do want to keep this in mind. Next thing that we're looking at is resonance buffs. Apparently, as we do get up our trial levels here, we're able to unlock different rewards, such as secret letters and different sources. All of this is going to be very nice and dandy, but apparently also by going up our levels, we're getting up our resonance. Our resonance is able to give us different stat buffs, which is just going to be on your account overall. And these can go from shield all the way up to attack buffs themselves. So it's always good to try and get up your actual overall trial level. The more we get this up, of course, more rewards and then more buffs for us, which is always great. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the elemental effects, which we're going to get more of these depending on the characters that we're using here. Anemo, Hydro, Pyro, Electro, Lumino, and Umbro are all these different elements that we end up going over. All of our characters will have something like this, where you do want to go ahead and actually figure out what your team is going to go for, and they do all have their different special properties. So for example, Lumino, it stacks periodical damage and refreshes duration of elemental bonuses. Seeing that they don't have anything to do with like Hydro and all of them, they're totally different. While Umbro itself, it does stack periodic damage, but while reducing the enemy stance recovery. So unlike, of course, the Hydro Pyro thing where they have their obvious elemental effects here, Umbro and Lumino will work differently. So you do have to, of course, keep in mind with that as well. But pretty cool with the elemental effects, so we're going to keep on moving. And this is going more into the weapon systems such as the melee and range. We already know that we can freely choose between our weapons on our characters themselves, and there's different type categories, one of them being the melee categories, which, as you know, it can range anything from great swords, katanas, and a whip sword, which actually sounds pretty darn cool. And then of course we have the ranged weapons that can range from anything as a bow, dual pistols, and even a shotgun. You can see the various ones that you want to go ahead and look at down below, so if you do want to, you can go ahead and pause the video and check out all the classifications for the weapons you can use later in the game. We have the next one being the damage types and attack patterns. This is also going to go to our weapons here, where our weapons will have 3 different damage types. We have Slash, which deals bonus damage to shielded enemies, Spikes that deals damage against high HP enemies, and then Smash, which is highly effective against enemies with stances. So we will need to, of course, pay attention to what actual weapons do give those out to kind of adjust to the boss at hand. This is where the primary and secondary weapons are really going to come in handy. So try to make sure you have your loadout pretty good to handle these said patterns. Now you can have same weapons as well. It does say even with the same weapon type, the attack patterns can vary greatly. So no matter how you see it, we have 3 different bows here, and you can see one's cocked to the middle, another is actually shown to the right, and then another one is drawn a little bit closer to our face in a different stance ability, which obviously is showing that the weapons will be combat different. So try to pay attention to how that does work as well. Then we have our next thing going over, which is the tactical backpack and combat partner summoning limits. Tactical backpack, I don't have to go over too much here. You can carry various different consumables in this thing. It's kind of like Woo, where you can go ahead and open your little tactical backpack in there and see all the things that you do have. This can be from combat partner sigils, different items that we have, such as like HP items, sigils in general. Let's say we're carrying some of the character ones and we want to just be around the world, and then all of a sudden we want to do dungeon, we can carry that as well. We have different emotes in there as well, as you can see. So obviously this is just simple to explain, nothing really crazy to actually look at. Now, other side is combat partner summoning limits. This is more than likely going to be the characters that you want by your side. So let's say your other 2 units that you want to have, which we can have a party, of course, here. And let's say you have a winded character or something. You want to have like your fire character and your water character out at the same time. Well, you would end up summoning your combat partners, which will help you out in your missions, which you can either use these in world exploration or solo commissions. Now, on the off chance, if you are using any other players, like real players who are playing with you in multiplayer, if there is one other person, then you're able to both bring a combat partner apiece. Though if there's two people in there, you guys cannot bring any other combat partners. You're going to be locked with just you three fighting, and I think that's pretty decent and fair to see how it's going to go. Because technically we're using up those 3 slots, so you won't be able to use your other 2 characters with you. Then we're coming down to the last part of the video, which is the combat partner weapon setup. This is as well going to go down to our teammates too, so truly do keep this in mind. But to gain your combat partner's support in battle, you do have to equip them with their own weapons and their own styles. It will need to match their style themselves, so you need to make sure you have the right weapons for them so they can actually join you for these solo commissions and multiplayer commissions as well. Though this does, of course, immediately go out the window once you're playing with multiplayer people. And that's where we go to the city co-op and matchmaking. Whenever we're in the city here, there are areas where we can actually talk to other players and be able to, of course, show off all of our things that we have, such as like mounts and such as our outfits. But alongside of this, we can then start to actually select a matchmaking process here, and this is going to be for commissions. You can either do this inside of this area, or whenever we are queuing up for the said commissions, there will be a button to allow us to actually do co-op with that and matchmake for it. So that should be pretty much everything that we need to really go over. But hopefully you found this video very, very helpful. If you did, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and tune in to the stream later on tonight. It's going to be freaking awesome. Who knows, we might do a giveaway. I haven't really decided just yet. We have to make sure we can do it. But till then, everybody, thank y'all for watching, and peace.